up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be talking about X-Men comics. I grabbed a brand new X-Men comic from my local comic book store to add to the collection, and we're just going to talk about it and talk about the X-Men and Avengers Doomsday and just some of the other X-Men comics that I got. So, now last weekend, my comic book store near me had a little like trick-or-treat thing where they gave out free comics and let the kids do face paint, and they got to like roll a giant dice and win a prize. I took the kids, they had a lot of fun. They each got to grab like 5 free comics each. And they had some good ones. They had like the X-Men 97 one. They had a Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four. And the Amazing Spider-Man. From the Ultimate Universe. So they had some really cool books. I also grabbed some other two. There was like a Venom comic and another Fantastic Four comic. Now I've been trying to add more X-Men to my collection just because I feel like I don't really have enough. And the last time I went into the store, this guy showed me this one and was talking about how it's, you know, kind of a collector milestone. So it's just something that, you know, he was really kind of not pushing me to get, but he was like, if you want, you know, a good collection, this is something good to have. Now I'll show that one off last, but for this one I'll show off this classic X-Men that I got. It's 1987. This has some really great artwork. And she eventually comes out of the plane crash as the Phoenix. And it just leads to like some really great art. This whole book is really awesome. It's a really good read. And then by the end of the story, the team ends up in the hands of Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy. You may remember his live action version from Deadpool 2.
Black Tom Cassidy.
White Wade Wilson, what's your superpower? Cultural appropriation?
Next up, I got this Cyclops Icons 1 of 4, and it's from 2001. This is a really good solo Cyclops story that just sees him kind of arguing with the professor after a harm room situation. Cyclops is obviously trying to be a better leader and deal with his past as usual. It opens up and it's got like a really awesome Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone ad. So funny enough, in this one we actually see Black Tom Cassidy and Juggernaut again. Now these two are together again, and it's just kind of funny to see them because, I mean, they were in the same prison in Deadpool 2, and part of me wonders if that's the reason, like, wonder if him and Juggernaut got caught together, being that, obviously, they're friends. Juggernaut didn't decide to bust out until not long after Black Tom was killed, so maybe they weren't best friends, but at least they were, like, kind of allies. Or it was just a throw-in that, you know, they were friends in the comics and that they were in the same prison together. But this one is another great comic that just sums up how no matter if they're in a team or by themselves, that each member of the X-Men is just absolutely powerful, and there's a reason they're on that team with Charles Xavier. And Tom Cassidy can only channel his energy through wooden objects, and Cyclops kind of says that hardly makes him the winner of the genetic lottery. So maybe that's a reason why he was so easy to catch in Deadpool 2 and the reason why he was in prison. Alright, the last book I'm going to show before I show the brand new one is the X-Men Unlimited number 2. I got number 1 right over here on the wall. I just reread this, and it's such a good story on Magneto. It's all about the speculation on whether he's alive and one man's journey through revenge to try to kill Magneto for the loss of his brother. Though he's absent, his presence is still obviously very, very heavy because it's a book about him. And it just talks about how he was de-aged by another mutant for a time, and that some scientists attempted to raise him in a different way for a little bit before he was changed back. And an entire book just goes through talking about how devastatingly powerful he is, and how if he really wants to do whatever he wants and do whatever he wants with the world, he kind of can. Takes us through basically his whole history with, like, you know, highlights of his old exploits and cool shot of Quicksilver and Wanda, and just some like a fight between him and Captain America and all kinds of really cool stuff. The thing that I do love is just how complex the comic book characters are. I mean, I know these stories are supposed to be meant for, you know, teenagers and kids and stuff, but it's really crazy just all like the torment and sadness and stuff that they all go through. Yeah, a lot of the ads for this one are for a game called Dragon Strike. I've never heard of it, but I'll probably look it up after this. Alright, finally we're going to get to the newest comic. It is the X-Men number 1. One of the best-selling comics of all time. The guy at the comic book store said this is an important one to have in your collection, and just really nice to have just because best-selling comic of all time. And he was telling me about all the variant covers and how, like, when this one came out, variant covers weren't really done that much yet, and how this one has a lot of different ones. He was like, you'll see. That's all he told me, but yeah, haven't opened this one yet, so. That's very nice. We got some X-Men action figures on the back for the ad. It's really nice. And that front cover, of course. So on the back we got Archangel, Apocalypse, Juggernaut, Magneto, Nightcrawler, and Storm. Yeah, I'll probably end up reading this one today just because it's the new one. And honestly, every time I look through my comics, and I think I haven't read as many as I thought, I've honestly read all of them. First page opening up, we get an amazing shot of Magneto saying this is my home. Can't wait to see what the story is, but the suits look fantastic. I mean, just right there, we got Wolverine and Psylocke. Alright. I'm kind of on an X-Men kick of reading all my X-Men comics, so. Some really great artwork of Mr. Sinister. That is fantastic. We got Beast and Wolverine. And in the end here, we got a picture of Magneto sliced up by Wolverine, talking about how he kind of feels betrayed that Wolverine actually attacked him. I can't wait to get to this story, honestly. It's, you know, just one of those ones that I kind of got talked into, but I'm glad I did because it looks really amazing. That being said, I really hope the X-Men we see in Avengers Doomsday does all of the characters justice. I mean, them bringing back all these characters and all the, you know, actors are obviously a little older, and how much they're going to be used and how often we're going to see them is, you know, up for debate and a big mystery. And that's, you know, one of the things that makes it exciting. And all the heroes, I hope we get to see, you know, costumes. I don't care how they have to do it. If they have to do like variants and stuff like that, whatever. Same way they did with Deadpool and Wolverine. Just so it makes sense if they really have to. Just to bring back some characters with comic accurate suits. Honestly, just reading all these comics just gets me more excited for what's to come. I really do appreciate any time spent watching my videos. I like making these little comic book videos. They're fun. I'm really enjoying catching up on all the stories and stuff like that. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.